George William Veditz, that's his sign name. He was born in Baltimore, Maryland. A long time ago, in 1861. He was born August 13th, 1861. When he was 8, he became deaf because he had fever. That time he went to a school in Baltimore. And he went because this school, his family was German and knew German, and they wanted him to also learn English. So, because he was deaf, they put him in the Maryland School for the Deaf. He graduated, but he couldn't go to school because they didn't have enough money. So he started working at the principal's office, secretary, vice principal, and the president's office. And then after 1 year, he was ready to go to Gallaudet. And after 4 years, he graduated, and he was the top of his class. Now, that kind of looks like, the grading scale, A, B, C, D, but back then it was numbers. It was 98.4%. That was what he got. He was the top of his class. Now, he graduated from there in 1884. And he went back to the Maryland School for the Deaf and began teaching for 4 years. Then he married his wife, and they went to Colorado. But we'll get back to that later. So he was working at the Maryland Institute. And he was working on creating an association for deaf rights. At the same time, so was Gallaudet. And while he was working at school, his wife was taking care of the children. And he could teach you. He became the president of a big group. And he also loved to play chess. And he got really, really well. He actually beat the Grandmaster of Chess. In 1904, he became the president of NAD. And it was an important time, too. It was Veditz realized that deaf people who were in the criminal justice system, who were being put in jail, didn't have a right, really, to work for the government after they came out. They had like a black mark on their papers that said that they didn't have many rights, so he decided to start fighting for that. In around 1907, when he was still the president, he realized that more oral schools were starting to show up around America. He was getting kind of concerned, and he decided that he has to videotape sign language. It's going to be a new era of videotaping and film. He has to preserve it. And so he picked a lot of people who had a very well signing skill. And in 1913, he had videotapes going, and he was starting to fight for sign language in America. He wanted all deaf people on Earth to be able to sign and to understand that. So he thought films would be a good idea, and that could preserve deaf culture and the language from years to come. He said that his hope was that people would love and appreciate and protect sign language. Instead of persecuting it. that video didn't solve anything, but it did help, and Congress actually started listening and giving deaf people their rights. Presently now, but it says been dead. But we remember that he inspired a lot of us, and he was very active in the government, fighting for deaf rights for people in America and also in the world.